My friend, let me ask you something that will shake the very foundation of your soul. What sits on the throne of your heart today? What drives your choices, your habits, your emotions, your thoughts when you are alone in the silence of your own mind? Because if it's not God, then something else has taken his rightful place. And until you dethrone that idol, be it your pride, your fear, your family, your money, your desires, your pain, you will never walk in the fullness of peace and purpose that comes only from placing God first in your life. There's a reason why so many are restless today, like ships tossed on raging seas. It's not because they lack opportunity, intelligence, or love. It's because they've built their lives around everything except God. They've constructed empires out of ego, castles out of comfort, and kingdoms out of control. But all of it, every bit will crumble to dust if God is not at the center. To put God first is not to add him to your schedule like an appointment you make and forget. It's not to sprinkle a little prayer over your plans and expect heaven to bend to your will. No, putting God first is a radical surrender. It is to wake up every single day and say, God, you are the reason I breathe. You are the reason I live. Without you, I am nothing. With you, I can face anything. Putting God first means reordering your soul. It means cleaning out the clutter of self and making room for his voice. It's not about being perfect, it's about being available. Available for his truth, his correction, his instruction, his direction. It's about inviting God into the innermost parts of your heart, not just the parts you show to the world. There is power in priority, and the moment you prioritize God above everything else will begin to fall into place. Not always the way you expect, but always the way that's best. Because God does not operate in confusion. He does not bless disobedience. He does not reward divided hearts. He pours out favor on those who fear him, seek him, trust him, and walk with him no matter the cost. Let me be clear, this is not a casual suggestion, this is a command from heaven. God is not asking to be a part of your life, he demands to be the center of it. He's not interested in being a backup plan, a crisis manager, or a weekend activity. He is the source, not a supplement. And until you make him your first thought in the morning, your deepest meditation at noon, and your last whisper before sleep, you will continue to chase after things that cannot satisfy. Some of you are trying to put God first while holding on to everything else. But you cannot walk two roads. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot carry God in one hand and your secret sins in the other. You cannot say you trust God and yet panic every time life shakes your foundation. You cannot say God is first and yet consult him last. The truth is simple. God is either first or he is not there at all. Putting God first requires courage because it means you must let go of what the world told you matters most. It means you might be misunderstood. It means you may walk alone at times. It means you might have to give up relationships that are pulling you away from God. It means you must break the chains of addiction, pride, and compromise, but oh, the freedom that follows. Oh, the peace that flows when God takes his rightful place. Too many people are searching for purpose without seeking the one who gives it. They run to self-help books, influences, philosophies, and trends, all while the eternal truth stands quietly, waiting to be heard. If you want to know who you are, go to the one who made you. If you want to be filled, go to the one who never runs dry. If you want direction, go to the one who sees the end from the beginning. If you want peace, go to God. But go all the way. Not halfway, not with hesitation, with your whole heart. When you put God first, it affects every area of your life. Your words change because you speak with purpose. Your mind changes because you guard your thoughts. Your habits change because you walk with discipline. Your choices change because you seek His wisdom before making a move. Your relationships change because you no longer settle for people who don't honor the God you serve. Putting God first also means you stop trying to please everyone else. Because when God becomes your compass, the opinions of others lose their grip on your soul. You no longer live to be popular, you live to be faithful. You no longer chase validation, you stand in conviction. You no longer bend to pressure, you rise in principle. Let me tell you, the enemy fears the person who has put God first. He can't manipulate someone who's rooted in truth. He can't tempt someone who's anchored in righteousness. He can't shake someone who has built their life on the unmovable rock that is God. Hell trembles when a man or woman says, God, I surrender it all to you, not just my Sundays, not just my prayers, but my entire life. You may say, but how do I begin? You begin by making time for God, not squeezing Him into your schedule, but crafting your schedule around Him. You begin by shutting out the noise of the world and listening for His still, small voice. You begin by obeying even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's inconvenient. Because obedience is the proof that God is first. Putting God first also means you place His word above your opinions. You don't argue with His commands. You don't negotiate with His standards. You submit. You align. You bend your will to His. Because in doing so, you are elevated not in the eyes of man, but in the eyes of God. Some of you have put other things first: your pain, your past, your goals, your family, your comfort, your reputation. But none of those things can carry you through life's storms. None of those things can fill the void in your soul. None of those things can stand in the day of judgment. Only God. So why keep delaying what you already know to be true? Why keep circling the same mountain of doubt, fear, and distraction when you could be climbing the mountain of purpose, peace, and power? Hand in hand with God.
Don't wait for a crisis to put God first. Don't wait for your plans to collapse, for your heart to break, for your strength to run out. Do it now. Do it while you still have breath in your lungs and fire in your soul. Because there is no greater pursuit, no higher calling, no richer reward than to live a life where God is truly first. And when you do, when you truly put God first, you will discover a power that no man can take, a joy that no storm can shake, a clarity that no confusion can dim. You will walk in divine alignment, and everything you need will be added unto you, not always what you want, but always what is best for your soul. So rise up, make the decision, tear down every idol, silence every voice that pulls you away, and crown God, King of your heart, Lord of your days, ruler of your steps. Let His presence not just visit you, but dwell in you. Let His truth not just comfort you, but transform you. Let His guidance not just influence you, but govern you. Because until God is first, nothing else will work. Nothing else will satisfy. Nothing else will last. And some of you, yes, you listening now are on the edge of a divine breakthrough, but it hinges on this one thing. Will you put God first, not with your lips, but with your life? So put Him first in your thoughts. Wake up thinking of Him, not of worry. Put Him first in your finances. Give not from leftovers, but from the first fruits of what He's given you. Put Him first in your time. Open your day with worship, not social media. Put Him first in your relationships. Stop entertaining those who weaken your walk with God. Put Him first in your dreams. Ask Him to direct, shape, and align them with His will. Put Him first in your pain. Bring your wounds to Him before you bring them to the world. Put Him first in your decisions. Consult Him before you commit. Put Him first in your battles. Seek His power before seeking man's solutions. Put Him first in your praise. Don't wait for perfect circumstances to thank Him. Put him first in everything, not just in moments, not just in emergencies, but in the quiet, in the ordinary, in the everyday. Because when God becomes your anchor, the winds can blow, but you will not sink. The storms can rage, but you will not fall. The fires can burn, but you will not be consumed. Your life was never meant to run on your own strength. It was meant to operate under divine order with God as the center, the source, the sovereign ruler of all. And when you step into that order, you step into supernatural peace. The world will offer you distractions, shortcuts, compromises, but none of them will satisfy. None of them will last. Only God will remain when all else fades. So why not give him your everything now? The greatest tragedy is not a life without success. It's a life without God at the center. You can have everything, but if God is not first, you have nothing. And you can have nothing, but if God is first, you have everything. And hear me now, this world is not neutral ground. Every day is a battlefield for your soul. Every moment is a tug of war between light and darkness, between truth and deception, between the eternal and the temporary. And the only way to walk through this storm-tossed world with unshakable strength is to put God first, not as a religious gesture, not as a spiritual hobby, but as your lifeline, your compass, your command center, because the enemy will feed you lies that feel like truth. He will whisper comfort that hides the cost. He will package destruction to look like destiny. And unless God is your guide, you will fall into traps disguised as blessings. Putting God first is not a one-time declaration. It's a daily decision, a decision that rewires your thinking, restructures your values, and redefines what you call success. It's the kind of decision that says, even if I lose everything the world offers, but I still have God, I've lost nothing at all. And if I gain everything this world parades before my eyes, but lose the favor and nearness of God, then I have truly lost it all. When God becomes first, you no longer chase meaning in people, in applause, in wealth, or in status. You are no longer bound to the approval of man. You are no longer driven by the fear of missing out, because you are locked into a relationship with the one who sees what you cannot, knows what you do not, and gives what no one else can. When God becomes your everything, your soul stops begging for attention from everything else. You want to see transformation in your life? Stop asking God to bless your own will and start submitting to his. Too many people are asking for guidance while ignoring the map. Too many are praying for blessings while refusing to walk in obedience. You cannot expect the fire of heaven to fall on an altar you have not prepared. You must bring your heart, your time, your decisions, your relationships, everything, and lay it before God in humility and reverence. And everything. You must pray in the ground in humility and reverence. And let me tell you, when you put God first, it will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you popularity. It will cost you relationships. But what you gain is far more than what you give up. You gain clarity, you gain strength, you gain purpose, you gain protection. You gain alignment with the divine order of the universe. There's no blessing greater than walking in step with God. No gift higher than knowing you are pleasing to the one who formed you from dust and called you by name. Putting God first is not about emotion, it's about conviction. Because feelings will fail you. They will shift with the winds of circumstance. But conviction, rooted in the reverence of God, will hold you steady when everything else falls apart. You must wake up every day with a firm, unshakable resolve that says, today, God comes first. Before my worries, before my work, before my wants, God. You see, when God is not first, fear takes the throne. Anxiety becomes your master. Your mind becomes a battlefield of confusion, comparison, and compromise. But when God is first, peace floods your spirit, direction becomes clearer, life regains its meaning, you stop reacting and start discerning. You stop grasping and start receiving. You stop surviving and you start thriving. Putting God first also means learning to wait when the world says rush. It means trusting the process when the path is unclear. It means standing still when every voice tells you to move. Because when God is first, you are no longer driven by impulse. You are governed by purpose. You are not pushed by panic. You are led by power. You are not tossed by trends. You are rooted in truth. And yes, it takes discipline. It takes silence. It takes solitude, because God doesn't always shout, he often whispers. And if your life is too loud, you will miss his voice. If your agenda is too full, you will miss his timing. If your heart is too proud, you will miss his correction. Putting God first means creating space for him, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It means turning off the noise and tuning into the eternal. Let me speak to those who feel distant from God, those who have wandered, drifted, gotten distracted. Hear this. It is never too late to make God first again. No matter how far you've run, one step back in humility opens the door to restoration. God does not require perfection. He desires sincerity. He responds not to performance, but to surrender. And if you will humble yourself today, if you will lay down your pride and say, God, I have placed other things before you, but no more, he will meet you there, not with condemnation, but with clarity, not with judgment, but with mercy. He will realign your steps and reignite your soul. But you must choose. You must choose to cut ties with every idol, every distraction, every false refuge. You must choose to remove the clutter from the altar of your heart until there is only room for God. You must choose to seek him when it's hard, to obey him when it's costly, and to trust him when it's quiet. When you put God first, you start building on a foundation that cannot be shaken. You become like a tree planted by rivers of living water, whose leaves do not wither, whose fruit does not fail. You become a force of purpose in a world of confusion. You become a light in the shadows, a voice of truth in the chaos. And your life becomes a testimony not of what you achieved, but of who you followed. People will look at you and say, there is something different. There is a strength in that man, a peace in that woman, a fire in that soul, and it won't be you they're seeing. It will be the evidence of God reigning at the center of your life. Putting God first is not just a personal benefit. It is a generational decision. The way you live today will echo in the lives of your children and their children. When you place God above all, you build a legacy of truth. You carve out a path of righteousness. You light a torch of faith that will not go out in the storms of time. So do not delay, do not hesitate, do not postpone. What your spirit knows is urgent. Let today be the day you break free from the chains of self-reliance and step boldly into the power of full surrender. Let today be the day you say, God, no more distractions, no more delay, no more divided heart. You are my beginning and my end, my strength and my song, my vision and my victory. Because once God is first, everything else falls into its rightful place. Not always easier, but always better. Not always smoother, but always stronger. Not always painless, but always purposeful. The path may be narrow, the road may be steep, but the reward is beyond what this world can offer. When God is first, you stop living like a victim of your circumstances and start walking like a vessel of divine purpose. You stop asking why me and start declaring use me, because putting God first reshapes your identity. You are no longer defined by what you've been through, but by who you belong to. No longer chained by the failures of your past, but empowered by the presence of God in your present. The moment God takes the throne of your life, your spirit rises above the dust of disappointment and your vision breaks through the fog of confusion. You no longer live from a place of reaction, you live from a place of revelation. And hear this, putting God first does not mean you will avoid hardship. It means you will not face it alone. It means the fire may come, but it will not consume you. The waters may rise, but they will not drown you. The winds may blow, but they will not uproot you. Because God, when he is first, becomes your refuge, your strength, your shield, your secret place. He becomes the reason you endure and the reason you overcome. You cannot experience the fullness of God's presence while living with divided loyalties. You cannot walk with God and flirt with rebellion. You cannot seek his guidance while ignoring his commandments. God is not a supporting character in your story. He is the author of it. And when you surrender your pen to him, your life begins to tell a story that reflects divine wisdom, not human chaos. To put God first is to remove the mask, to stop pretending, stop hiding, stop performing. It is to bring your full self. broken, wounded, unsure, to the one who already knows and still calls you. It is to stop living by sight and start walking by trust, because trust is not based on what you see. Trust is rooted in who God is. Trust says, even when I don't understand the way, I will walk it because God is the one leading me. Putting God first requires honesty, brutal honesty. You must ask yourself, who really governs my decisions? Is it convenience? Is it comfort? Is it fear? Is it reputation? Or is it the will of God? Because you cannot walk in obedience to God while living in submission to fear. Fear will tell you to settle. Fear will tell you to stay silent. Fear will tell you that surrender is weakness. But putting God first means you rise above the voice of fear and walk in the power of faith. You want a stable life? Build it on the truth of God, not on emotions that shift like sand, not on culture that bends with the wind, not on people whose loyalty comes and goes, but on God, who remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. The unchanging, unmatched, unlimited God, who calls you higher, draws you deeper, and leads you further than you could ever take yourself. This is not a call to lukewarm living. This is not an invitation to part-time faith. This is a summons to full surrender. God does not ask for pieces. He commands the whole. Your thoughts, your time, your energy, your heart, your desires, your fears, your goals, your grief, your joy, all of it. Lay it before God and say, take it, shape it, use it, align it with your will. That is what it means to put God first, not to invite him into your plans, but to abandon your plans and trust his. And some of you have walked long roads of disappointment. You've tried to do it all your own way. You've leaned on your own strength, your own understanding, your own strategy. But where has it brought you? Exhausted, confused, empty. Because a life without God at the center is a life destined to collapse under pressure. But the moment you reorder your priorities, when God becomes first, everything changes. Your mind finds clarity, your spirit finds strength, your home finds peace, your direction becomes clear. Because God is not the author of confusion, he is the giver of wisdom. He is not the promoter of chaos. He is the master of order. And when your life is ordered with God at the head, you begin to walk in divine rhythm, no longer stumbling in the dark, but stepping forward with confidence. Let me tell you something the world won't. The life of true power is not found in control. It's found in surrender. The world says take charge, but God says submit. The world says follow your heart, but God says guard it. The world says live for yourself, but God says deny yourself and live for me. And only one of those voices leads to life. The question is, who will you follow? You can chase pleasure, but it fades. You can chase people, but they change. You can chase power, but it corrupts. But when you chase God, when you put him first, you chase the only one who is eternal, the only one who sees you, knows you, and still chooses to walk with you, the only one who can fill the void, heal the wound, calm the storm, and light the path. Stop waiting for a perfect moment to start putting God first. Start in the middle of your mess. Start in the middle of your questions. Start with trembling hands and a weary heart if you must, but just start. God honors the heart that seeks him, even when that heart is broken. And when you do, when you truly place God on the throne of your life, you will notice something begin to change, not just around you, but within you. Your appetite for meaningless things will die. Your thirst for truth will grow. Your vision will sharpen. Your peace will deepen. Your steps will steady, because when God becomes first, everything else must bow. Everything else must yield. Let this be the season you stop making excuses and start making God your priority. Don't say you're too busy. God gave you time. Don't say you're too tired. God is your strength. Don't say it's too late. God is outside of time. Don't say you're too broken. God specializes in making beauty from ashes. When God is first, you stop living like a victim of your circumstances and start walking like a vessel of divine purpose. You stop asking why me and start declaring use me, because putting God first reshapes your identity. You are no longer defined by what you've been through, but by who you belong to. No longer chained by the failures of your past, but empowered by the presence of God in your present. The moment God takes the throne of your life, your spirit rises above the dust of disappointment, and your vision breaks through the fog of confusion. You no longer live from a place of reaction. You live from a place of revelation. And hear this. Putting God first does not mean you will avoid hardship. It means you will not face it alone. It means the fire may come, but it will not consume you. The waters may rise, but they will not drown you. The winds may blow, but they will not uproot you. Because God, when He is first, becomes your refuge, your strength, your shield, your secret place. He becomes the reason you endure and the reason you overcome. You cannot experience the fullness of God's presence while living with divided loyalties. You cannot walk with God and flirt with rebellion. You cannot seek His guidance while ignoring His commandments. God is not a supporting character in your story. He is the author of it. And when you surrender your pen to Him, your life begins to tell a story that reflects divine wisdom, not human chaos. To put God first is to remove the mask. To stop pretending, stop hiding, stop performing. It is to bring your full self, broken, wounded, unsure, to the one who already knows and still calls you. It is to stop living by sight and start walking by trust, because trust is not based on what you see. Trust is rooted in who God is. Trust says, even when I don't understand the way, I will walk it because God is the one leading me. Putting God first requires honesty, brutal honesty. You must ask yourself, who really governs my decisions? Is it convenience? Is it comfort? Is it fear? Is it reputation? Or is it the will of God? Because you cannot walk in obedience to God while living in submission to fear. Fear will tell you to settle. Fear will tell you to stay silent. Fear will tell you that surrender is weakness. But putting God first means you rise above the voice of fear and walk in the power of faith. You want a stable life? Build it on the truth of God, not on emotions that shift like sand, not on culture that bends with the wind, not on people whose loyalty comes and goes, but on God who remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. The unchanging, unmatched, unlimited God who calls you higher, draws you deeper, and leads you further than you can ever take yourself. This is not a call to lukewarm living. This is not an invitation to part-time faith. This is a summons to full surrender. God does not ask for pieces. He commands the whole. Your thoughts, your time, your energy, your heart, your desires, your fears, your goals, your grief, your joy, all of it. Lay it before God and say, take it, shape it, use it, align it with your will. That is what it means to put God first, not to invite Him into your plans, but to abandon your plans and trust His. And some of you have walked long roads of disappointment. You've tried to do it all your own way. You've leaned on your own strength, your own understanding, your own strategy. But where has it brought you? Exhausted, confused, empty. Because a life without God at the center is a life destined to collapse under pressure. But the moment you reorder your priorities, when God becomes first, everything changes. Your mind finds clarity, your spirit finds strength, your home finds peace, your direction becomes clear. Because God is not the author of confusion. He is the giver of wisdom. He is not the promoter of chaos. He is the master of order. And when your life is ordered with God at the head, you begin to walk in divine rhythm, no longer stumbling in the dark, but stepping forward with confidence. Let me tell you something the world won't. The life of true power is not found in control. It's found in surrender. The world says, take charge, but God says, submit. The world says, follow your heart, but God says, guard it. The world says, live for yourself, but God says, deny yourself and live for me. And only one of those voices leads to life. And now, let this be written in fire upon your soul. You cannot claim to honor God while exalting your ego. To truly put God first is to dethrone self. It is to crucify your pride, humble your ambitions, and bring your stubborn will into complete submission before the Almighty. This is not a casual nod to the heavens. It is a soul-deep realignment of everything you are and everything you do. Because until you remove yourself from the center, God cannot take His rightful place there. And as long as you remain the master of your own life, you will continue to reap the fruit of confusion, frustration, and spiritual dryness. You must understand, God does not compete with your distractions. He does not fight for your attention. He is sovereign, holy, exalted, far above all creation. He waits to be honored, not squeezed into your leftover minutes or called upon only when trouble comes. He is not your emergency plan. He is the plan. He is not your final resort. He is your only source. And the moment you begin to live like that, your life will shift from survival to significance, from wandering to walking in divine direction. To put God first is to live with reverence. And reverence is not just about words. It is a posture of the heart. It is found in how you speak, how you think, how you treat others when no one is watching. Reverence is when you open your day by acknowledging God, not your to-do list. Reverence is when you pause before decisions and seek His wisdom, not your own understanding. Reverence is when you refuse to compromise, even when it would be easier, because you fear displeasing God more than losing the approval of man. The soul that places God first becomes untouchable by darkness, not because it is immune to pain, but because it is protected by presence. When God is your priority, His protection becomes your covering. His favor becomes your shield. His power becomes your strength. And even when you walk through valleys of hardship, you do not crumble because your confidence is not in circumstances. It is anchored in the one who holds all things in His hands. Many of you have been praying for breakthrough, for clarity, for healing, for doors to open. But let me ask you this with love and fire in my voice. Have you truly put God first? Or have you just expected Him to bless your plans while you continue to live on your terms? You cannot unlock the fullness of divine power while keeping one foot in your own will. You must surrender both feet to the path God chooses. That is where the supernatural begins. Let me speak plainly. Putting God first will expose your idols. It will reveal the areas of your life that you've tried to hide from the light. It will test your allegiance. It will shake every false foundation you've built upon. But praise be to God, for He does not destroy you to shame you. He exposes you to restore you. The discomfort is the beginning of cleansing. The conviction is the start of transformation. And the moment you say, God, strip me of everything that has taken your place, that is the moment heaven begins to build you again. You cannot walk in divine favor while living with a divided heart. You must make a clean break from the things that have entangled you, whether it be toxic relationships, secret sin, misplaced priorities, or unhealthy attachments. If it competes with God, it must go. This is not about being extreme. This is about being obedient, because obedience is not about convenience. It is about covenant. And when you honor God above all, He will honor you before all. Putting God first does not mean life becomes easier. It means life becomes ordered. Chaos may still swirl around you, but you will not be shaken. Temptations may still knock, but they will not overtake you. The noise of the world may still shout, but your ears will be tuned to a higher voice, because when God is first, everything else is filtered through His truth, and truth becomes your compass, not culture. Conviction becomes your anchor, not opinion. Faith becomes your fuel, not fear. There are some of you who feel spiritually stuck, like you're running in place, praying but not hearing, seeking but not finding. And I tell you this, not to condemn, but to awaken. Revisit your priorities. Revisit the throne of your heart. Who or what have you placed above God? Is it your career, your reputation, your comfort, your pain? Whatever it is, if it comes before God, it has become your master, and it must be cast down. God does not desire a piece of you. He demands the whole, not because He is cruel, but because He knows that nothing less than full surrender will ever truly satisfy you. Half-hearted devotion leads to a half-filled soul. A half-filled soul is a dangerous place to live. It leaves you vulnerable, unstable, easily deceived. But a life that is poured out before God is a life that overflows with strength, clarity, and purpose. Apply with you. Realign your focus. Rebuild your altar. Rekindle your fire. Let your life be a living testimony that proclaims God is first, now and forever. Let that decision govern how you speak, how you spend, how you serve, how you sacrifice. Let it guide what you watch, what you listen to, what you pursue, what you release. Every detail of your life matters to God. There is no area too small for His direction and no area too large for His power. The more you place God first, the more you will become like Him, steadfast, wise, patient, bold, and compassionate. You will no longer move by impulse, but by instruction, no longer live by survival, but by vision, no longer wrestle with identity, because your identity will be rooted in the one who never changes. This is not just a motivational idea. This is a divine order. Life does not work as it was meant to unless God is at the head. Families crumble when God is removed. Societies decay when God is forgotten. Souls wither when God is replaced. And the longer you wait to put him back in his rightful place, the deeper the damage becomes. But praise be to the Almighty,